I was very happy to know that Kiran has started something called as Leadership Card with another 3 amazing leaders.
Training started with a SWOT analysis on our own strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat areas.
This particular course was broken into 4 main crucial topics. First week was about the communication.
To grow your business as well as your personal brand.
Second week, time management.
Prioritizing the time by the 4-step urgency versus important quadrant.
Third week was about change management.
Why change is important.
Where we had to explain Porter's 8-step model.
Last week was about conflict management.
I can very easily and confidently share my ideas and thoughts in front of my authority.
One of the important takeaway from this, the conflict management.
Leadership card, third, mindset, relationship building.
A rich and diverse background of all 4 mentors is enriching.
Special highlight of this program is the last week get together as a team and work on a single project.
The important advantages from the leadership card, the person interaction.
Best part about the program was they inspired us to take action.
Great session on how to make a vision board.
I highly recommend this course to the professionals of middle, junior and senior management.
In this public speaking skills and speak like a leader. I was searching for the right place, and then I was very happy to know that Kiran has started something called as Leadership Card with another 3 amazing leaders.
Training started with a SWOT analysis on our own strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat areas.
This particular course was broken into 4 main crucial topics. First week was about the communication.
To grow your business as well as your personal brand.
Second week, time management.
Prioritizing the time by the 4-step urgency versus important quadrant.
Third week was about change management.
Why change is important.
Where we had to explain Porter's 8-step model.
Last week was about conflict management.
I can very easily and confidently share my ideas and thoughts in front of my authority.
One of the important takeaway from this, the conflict management.
Leadership card, third, mindset, relationship building.
A rich and diverse background of all 4 mentors is enriching.
Special highlight of this program is the last week get together as a team and work on a single project.
The important advantages from the leadership card, the person interaction.
Best part about the program was they inspired us to take action.
Great session on how to make a vision board.
I highly recommend this course to the professionals of middle, junior and senior management.
In this public speaking skills and speak like a leader. I was searching for the right place, and then I was very happy to know that Kiran has started something called as Leadership Card with another 3 amazing leaders.
Training started with a SWOT analysis on our own strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat areas.
This particular course was broken into 4 main crucial topics. First week was about the communication.
To grow your business as well as your personal brand.
Second week, time management.
Prioritizing the time by the 4-step urgency versus important quadrant.
Third week was about change management.
Why change is important.
Where we had to explain Porter's 8-step model.
Last week was about conflict management.
I can very easily and confidently share my ideas and thoughts in front of my authority.
One of the important takeaway from this, the conflict management.
Leadership card, third, mindset, relationship building.
A rich and diverse background of all 4 mentors is enriching.
Special highlight of this program is the last week get together as a team and work on a single project.
The important advantages from the leadership card, the person interaction.
Best part about the program was they inspired us to take action.
Great session on how to make a vision board.
I highly recommend this course to the professionals of middle, junior and senior management. Good evening. Welcome all of you to this card hour. Much awaited. Every week, one of us from the leadership card is here, either Kiran, Ashish, myself, or Devesh, to share some of the nuggets of wisdom on the leadership. And today, let me start with quickly for the viewer who are come as new viewers to us today. Card team is comprising of these 4 individuals. As I mentioned the names, we trained over 1,500 people, and we bring in an expertise in the areas of communication, finance, real estate, management, operations, sales, GSI, alliances, and cumulative of 100 plus years of an experience, worked in diverse field of functions, and bring in the Indian and global work experiences. Little more in detail, Kirandeep Sandhu believes your voice matters, so speak to be heard. She is an academic and communication leadership and also certified by HRD Corp and TEDx speaker. Comes with 2 decades of academic and entrepreneurship coaching. John Maxwell certified leadership coach, social entrepreneur, and areas of expertise. He works on mindset, personality development, effective communication, personal branding, coaching, and TEDx coaching. Ashish Datta is our current today's speaker. I will give more details about him later, but he comes from the operational and finance leadership. He's a chartered accountant by profession, certified trainer, IATD. He's a CEO and CFO of a company, leadership coach, self-leadership architect, 3+ decades of into finance, people, process, technology across industry, manufacturing, and IT consulting. He deals with on the subject of self-leadership, team dynamics, relationship management, and conflict management. Next is me. I believe we all have powers to make impossible possible. I work on the service and transformational leadership with an over experience of 34+ years in the corporate real estate, facilities and leadership transformation, and coach mentor. I'm a TEDx speaker and 2 times the author. Area of an expertise, I deal with business transformation, personal transformation, SWOT analysis, priority management, networking, customer service. Our Devesh Mohan, he says, tie your shoes and run towards your goal. And he deals on the sales, and he brings an expertise from the sales and alliance leadership with the 2+ decades of an leadership experience in this area, and also a social entrepreneur. He works on the areas like leadership coach, personal transformation, goal setting, achievement programs, and partnership and alliance program. These are all some of the quick pictures of those in-person program which we started a couple of months back, and these are all those pictures of the in-person as well as some of the Zoom meeting online programs as well. And today we have Ashish Datta, as I explained, provided his brief to you. He has recently become an author. On leadership is a dark hole is his book. It's available on Amazon. You can also buy and read that book as well. And he's here going to talk to us on the key ingredients for effective team management. So I'll hand it over to Ashish Datta. Welcome, Ashish.
Thank you, Ram. So team management. What do you think is that key ingredient? What is that one factor which really makes a change? Anybody?
Finally. Thank you. I believe it's trust.
Right. You are right, Kiran. Thank you for that. It is trust. If we have to effectively manage teams, there has to be trust between everybody, the leader, the team, and within the team. And trust is the key. Next slide. Trust is the key. How do we build trust? Now, with respect to the team, there are 3 areas, broad areas, I would say, which helps a lot in building trust. Let's look at them one by one. The first one is culture. What is culture? As a leader, if we have to manage our team well, we have to build a right culture within the team. Of course, there is an organization culture. I understand that. And most of the time, we have to adhere to that organization culture. But I think within the team, you can build your own culture. You can build that culture. And what is that culture I'm talking about? The very first part of culture, you can go back one step, is a collaborative culture. That's the first culture that you need to promote within the team. And what is a collaborative culture? A collaborative culture is where people are free to give their viewpoints. It is not about what I think or you think. We ideate, we get all the points. And then we work out what is the best for that situation or the organization. It is not about my solution or your solution. That spirit, that mindset should be built within the team from day one. Encourage people to ideate, disagree, and then from that ideation, try to work out the best possible solution, which is best for the organization. That's the first part of culture. The second culture to promote, can we go back one step? The second culture that we need to promote is a learning and development culture. Instill that learning and development culture. Everybody must be student for life. Encourage people to learn more, learn new things, fine-tune their own skills. That spirit must be put from day one. That's what I call a learning and development culture. And the third culture that is to be promoted is self-leadership culture. Self-leadership is each person within the team is leading themselves. And the key components of self-leadership are CRM, customer relationship maturity. That's the culture you need to promote within your team. Learning and development, self-leadership, and a collaborative culture. This is as far as culture is concerned. What is the second one? The second one is proper performance management. That's the second key aspect of how you build trust. Now understand, trust is not about friendship. I may not like you. You may not like me personally. But when you believe that I'm invested in your growth, I think that's the key part of building trust. It is not about liking each other. And their performance plays a very important role. Are you invested in growing that person, in developing that person, so that person really grows in their career? So within performance, let me point out the 3 key elements. The first element is setting the right expectation in terms of what we call the KRAs or the KPAs. That's very important. Set the right culture within the team. What are my roles and responsibilities? What is expected from you? What are your key result areas? Set that up properly. This is what I call roles and responsibilities, expectation setting, and KPA. What should I target? And keep assessing their performance against those KPAs and KRAs on a quarterly basis. How are they doing? Do they need any support? And all the KPAs and KRAs, you have to be very careful about this part. For example, if I am a technical guy and I'm a developer, I cannot put a KPA as 80% of my time I should be billable. Why is that? Because all the KPAs and KRAs that we have must be within my control. If the company does not get a project that I am not utilized, is not within my control. That is not my problem. So you must set the KPAs which are clearly measurable. You must have the KPA and how they'll be measured. And all those KPAs must be within the control of that individual. That's the first point about the performance, which is setting the right expectation, KPA, KRAs, and keep monitoring from time to time. The second key aspect here is about empowerment. Now, I am a strong believer of delegating everything. Just delegate everything. When you delegate everything, of course, you need to give the right guidance, again to the right expectation setting if they have understood if there's a problem. And also along the way, you need to coach and guide. But delegate everything. Don't keep those very critical aspects to you and leave things which are not that important to them. Give them everything. Trust them. What happens because of this is people feel important. People feel they are being respected. People feel they are important. And that has a positive impact on their performance. A very key aspect of empowerment is that a lot of times people, in fact, hesitate as well to take on responsibilities. And why do they hesitate to take responsibilities? Because what if something goes wrong? And that's where you have to assure them that you have their back. Go ahead and do it. If there's a problem, I'll cover for you. But when there's a problem, you should learn from the problem, retrospect on that problem, and ensure you don't do it again. Covering up doesn't mean that you keep doing it all the time. Yes, you learn out of experience, we know that. I'm definitely there to back you up. But you must learn from that experience. You must learn from the mistakes that you make and become better. That is what the expectation is. This is a very powerful tool to empower people, learning out of it, becoming important and doing it. The third important area about performance is to give good feedbacks. I call that constructive feedbacks. Give them proper feedbacks. Constructive feedbacks. And this feedback process is not a one-way street. It has to be on both sides. Proper feedback mechanism where you're giving the right feedback to each other. Feedbacks which clearly demonstrate you're very interested in the growth of the other person. And also create an environment that people give you the right feedback. Is a very good way to improve, build trust within the team. And to get feedbacks, not all feedbacks are correct. A lot of time, a lot of feedback is just perceptions or a one-time incident. So there is a process to be followed in terms of feedbacks. The first part of that process is to listen. It is either way. You're giving feedback to your teammates, or they are giving you. You have to build that culture where people listen and process that information. They may agree, they may disagree. And feedback should always be given with facts, your observations. Look, you had sent me an email. I did not feel good about it. So I wanted to discuss with you. Is there something I'm missing, or you want me to correct it? So you clearly get the fact you did not feel good that day, but you may be right, you may be wrong. That could be a perception. You're making that point clear. Or this is what I have observed. Don't give an assessment, give an observation. You did like this on that day. Could you please explain this? I did not feel good about it. Even people were not comfortable with that. That's a real feeling that you're giving, but you may be right or wrong. So first is to give that feedback and create a culture where people understand the feedback, listen, ask the right questions to clarify. That's the first part of it. The second part of after you got a feedback is you need to validate that feedback. If I have to give feedback, even for a teammate, or a teammate has to give it to me, a lot of things are perceptions. I know my mind the best. The teammate knows their mind the best. Why they did in that circumstances. So there has to be a validation process. Okay, this was the feedback. Why did I do like this? Was that a one-time incident, or that's just a perception? How is it? Get it validated by others if necessary. Validating the feedback is very important. And when you have validated that feedback and you think, yes, there is a problem there, work out an action plan, work on it. So that's the process. Listen, validate, take action. This is something also related to your culture. Put that into your culture. This is how feedback should be done. And feedback should be very positive enough. It is not to put down somebody, never an assessment, and put that process in place. So if you're doing that, you are improving, your teammate is improving. Power it up with empowerment and proper KRA and KPA. I'm sure that would go a long way in helping your teammates and yourself as well to perform better. And that's a sure shot way of building trust. So that was the second one, performance. What is the third one? Element to build trust. Well-being. In today's world, it is not enough to be just looking at performance management or the right culture. Accept the fact people need to be compensated. Nobody's going to think of your empty culture or performance. They'll think it's all hollow unless you pay them as per the market standard. So you must have a proper study of the market, see the market situation, and pay them accordingly. So compensation structuring is one of the key elements of well-being. That makes the person happy. Of course, that must be linked to the KRAs and KPAs. If that doesn't perform, there are other termination disciplinary ways. But I assume if you have the right culture, you're giving the right guidance and performance, for the salary they get, there will be performance. So compensation structuring, compensation standardization is the first key point. The second important point is health is a big issue today. People are conscious, they're very health conscious. And now with the virtual working from home, there's a lot of mental issues coming up as well. Therefore, taking care of medical and the health requirements of teammates is now a very necessary one. That's the second aspect of it. Do whatever is possible in terms of health, medical insurance, other benefits, consultation. Like a lot of companies are all now tying up with companies for teleconsultations, fast track services, so forth. There are so many that we can do in terms of medical and health. That is the second aspect of well-being. And the third aspect of well-being is team bonding. Have a lot of activities related to team, be it a tournament, be it annual get-togethers, be it other culturals. And especially now with working from home, you need a lot of things which you can do virtually as well. So apart from work, that also helps their mind, team bonding activities in whatever way possible. So these are the three aspects of well-being. The culture, setting the right culture in terms of learning and development, collaboration, and self-leadership in terms of CRM, performance monitoring through proper KRA, KP, and expectation setting, empowerment, constructive feedbacks, and well-being through compensations as per the market standard and capabilities, health, medical benefits, and proper team bonding activities go a long way in building trust. But to get to this situation of trust, to get to this kind of a trust culture, performance, well-being, there are some prerequisites. Without that, this will not work. What are those prerequisites that must be in place? The first is self-leadership. It is nothing but leading by example. Unless you as a leader walk the talk, do it, others will not follow you. They won't trust you. So you have to be a self-leader, leading yourself towards your goal. And when you do that, team members will automatically follow you. Team members will automatically follow you. And as you know, self-leadership has three parts. Communication, which is about influence and persuasion of people. Building the right relationships are investing and solving problems for people and building the right relationships and showing the right mental resilience. So once you do that, you then can lead teams. Then you can instill culture, performance, and well-being. But if you yourself are not doing that, how would you expect to do people? So I would say, if you have to be a team leader, you have to first be a leader who sets by examples, leads by examples through self-leadership, which is CRM, customer relationship, and maturity. The second prerequisite that is very important is you must have the right systems and processes. Without systems and processes, an organization cannot be managed, and so a team cannot be managed. And what goes into systems and processes? Your core vision. What is that the company is moving towards? What is the core values for which the company stands for? You must first define those core values. The core values also defines the vision of the company. And based on that vision, work out your rules and procedures, because a vision or a core values must be substantiated by proper handbooks. How you define that core value? Let's say one of my core values is the development of my people, irrespective of projects, or I have to develop my people. So there has to be proper systems, there has to be proper procedures, there has to be proper guidelines. If I don't do that, then each person will have their own interpretation of how to develop people. There has to be standardized guidelines. Like in any family, there are rules. So you have to set up the rules, the guidelines, the handbooks. And the third part of it is, you have to also have the right team ground rules. Without systems and processes, it is very difficult to manage teams. So you have to set up the right systems, the right team ground rules, how the team will collaborate, how teams will behave, what is expected from each other, how they'll report, how they'll communicate. If it's all very clearly written down as rules and regulations and guidelines, then it becomes very standardized and everybody follows the same. Otherwise, people will not be following as per that standard. So before we even think of setting up teams, building trust with the team, the first thing is that we need to lead by example. And leading by example is about CRM, excelling in CRM, and thereby we ourselves achieve exponential growth and team will follow. Set up all the right systems, procedures, what's the core value that you stand for. And that systems and process actually helps you to drive. It is for the benefit of people to standardize so everybody has the same thought process and movement. There is another important aspect which I think is a prerequisite, and that I call eyes on the ball. What do I mean by that? Eyes on the ball. Always be very clear about what are the key success factors of an organization. What are the key factors which will lead to the success of my organization? For an IT company where I am more connected with, I would say the first thing is quality solutions, because that's how you get referrals and repeat business. And to give quality solutions, you must retain people for long. They become more efficient, productive. So how do you retain people? And third, building, making the company stronger by using your cash reserves, building on your cash reserves. These are the three success factors, let us say. Then your all process systems must drive towards that. These are the key success factors. One should be very clear, okay, what are those factors I'm driving towards that? That's the first part of it. Second part is have clear goals and plan. Beginning of the year, have clear plan what you want to achieve. What's your sales target? What's the results you want to achieve? What's the profit you want to achieve? What are your department budget? Have proper budgeting. So setting up your success factors and accordingly, based on that, work out your yearly plans. You must have a goal, what you want to achieve for the organization, because that's what you're going to drive the people. Systems and processes helps you. Self-leadership, you lead the team by an example, but you're leading them towards what? Having the right results. So you have to have proper plans, realistic plans, achievable plans, and work towards that. And the third is very close monitoring of those success factors and plans. Don't leave it to the year end. Even on a daily basis, take a look. How is it going? What course corrections we need to do? What actions we have to take? Keep constantly your ear and focus. Everything should be on those key success factors. So these are the key ingredients of team management. Lead by example is the very first one. Be an expert in CRM. build the right systems, processes, and core values which will drive the people. And always have eyes on the ball. What results? Ultimately, we are here to achieve results. That's our main focus. People is important as a mean, but our objective in the organization is eyes on the ball. Once that is done, set up the right culture. Guide people to perform. And always take care of well-being. I'm sure you will build a very resilient, robust team which trusts each other. And not only will the team perform, the organization will also perform as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ashish, for the wonderful session. Let us see any questions from the audience or live here as well as online.
Ashish, I really enjoyed this whole thing because I think teams are so fluid. You just don't know. In fact, today I had posted a short carousel on LinkedIn. And even when I was writing about it, I was thinking about the part about listening and feedback. And you brought that question up. And you have shared that how to get that feedback. But are we as humans really receptive to feedback? Can you elaborate a little bit more that how can we actually get constructive feedback without going into a shell?
It is very difficult. Initially, it's a very difficult thing, both sides, to give the right feedback, because you'll hesitate to give feedback. And if you give, the other person will not take it. I have been personally a victim of this. I used to feel very upset, very negative about it. I don't think I have an answer to the question now, but you just have to get started. In my case, I had a lot of performance pay, which was riding on feedbacks. So I had to take action. And then when I started looking at feedback, when I was not feeling happy, but I was forced to talk to the people, get their perspective on it, a change happened. People felt coming closer to me. I understood their point of view and realized that there is indeed a gap which I can work on. So you have to just get started with it and work on it. There is no other way. Just get started one day, I would say. The culture plays a big role. In the organization as a leader, you have to set the right expectation. That's why I said culture plays a big role. If you set up that culture, people will hesitate at the beginning, but give them the warmth, give them the feedback. They know that you're really pointing out. If they realize, it will go. But at the end of the day, just get started. That's the crude, rough thing. It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Even today, I feel bad. If I get a feedback which is not to my liking, I would put it that way. But I know I have become more matured. I've worked on CRM to understand, okay, I'm a human being, I'll feel bad. But exteriorly, if I take that feedback and work on it, there's a lot to gain. So just get started. That's my simple answer.
The part about the feedback, I would also say that not all feedback, as we said, is always right. You just have to actually retrospect and ask others, is there an echo of the same feeling around? And I think that would be one step forward, that you then realize it's actually not just one person saying, there are more people. But if it's one person saying something, I think that's where you can take a discretion. What do you think, Ashish?
That's where I talked about validation.
Absolutely.
You have to validate that. It could be one person. You have to talk to people. This is what I heard. In my case, it happened. I got a bad rating or a poor rating. And I checked with others. They said, no, it is nothing like that. And so that was a validation for me. So validation is very important. You cannot go by one feedback. You have to talk to people, what they feel about you. You start getting feedback, try to get this. So as you correctly said, it is very important to validate, because a lot of feedbacks are perceptions which can be corrected.
I do want to add on this particular point that recently, when I was given some feedback, I took it very harshly. And I didn't have anybody else to validate whether that feedback was right or wrong, because I felt that my position was right in what I had done. But at that juncture, as I was not able to share that feedback with other people because it was very personal, I think at that step, I think an individual has to have self-awareness and self-control, which is also from your book, Ashish, Leadership, the Dark, Navigating the Dark Hole, where I was able to step back and then think about it. Is this feedback actually correct? And then rephrase those thoughts to just validate it with evidence to say whether what I was hearing, was it actually correct or was it just one person's opinion? So I would say that could be another way of doing it, is that evidence-based, you evaluate the feedback you have received and then make a judgment whether there is validation to the feedback that has been given, and then take a call and work on your emotions and get out of it, and then you can improve. So I would agree.
I agree. Self-awareness and self-control is very important. That's why when you're listening to people, questioning plays a very important. Clarify. Okay, was that one incident? Was it two incidents? At that time, whatever, our mind gets clouded. People are now, we go into a shell. We have to get over that and do it once. It becomes a habit. Ask the question, okay, what do you think? Was it a one time? Are you observing in me? What do you feel? If you clarify that now, you'll be able to get to the bottom of what it is. And a lot of times when you ask the right questions, the other person, okay, then it must have been my perception. How you ask the right question. That is very important.
Very true. Ram, would you like to add anything to the conversation about this, or should we?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. One of the thing is when feedback is, yes, you have to take it and not to react to that and analyze it. That's what rightly is put in, and look at if growth oriented and you wanted to be a leader, that is what is required. You should always it happens. And even as we are talking about also moment, what Ashish said is right. Anybody giving a feedback, that moment you think that immediate thing comes up, but you need to resist that. That comes over a period of time and experience and other things. Maturity. With that,
right?
How you would take the feedback. That's very important. Right. And also all the ingredient you had put in is most important, and kind of a thing. Na? And if there is no system and process, feedback that will create a big conflict also. If you have a good system and process, there is a process through which you get the things, and that's where it helps in. Always, as summary is, yes, feedback is a feedback. Somebody has given they can't take it back, but you need to look at and analyze it, and how do you work on it is most important.
I want to end it by saying that also, do you trust the person? It comes back to the center point, that whether that feedback was given with the right intention, and do you trust the person as a team member, whether they are there for their own personal reasons giving you feedback, or is this for your growth? Because as you started off with by saying that team is about growing others. So I think that brings it all back. Yes, Ashish, sorry, I cut you off.
No, leading by example. That gives you I think the initial start of trust. You are leading by example. That means you are invested in CRM. You're automatically showing that you're there for them. I think that's one trust. And coming back to feedback, initially you have to force people to get into this process. And I strongly believe make it a part of the performance pay. Like so much depends on feedback. Very simple. Then people will be forced to do it, but then they will get into it and understand. It's not always that people take initiative on their own.
Right. Okay. We're coming to the close of our card hour. Ram, would you like to wrap up the session?
Okay. Thank you, Ashish, for sharing the thoughts on this one. And it is very insightful. Now, how do they continue? This is card hour is one of the things wherein you start from there. The people who are watching on live as well as here, you can start from the card hour. Then you can look at there's a personal transformation program that is one of the flagship program we have, and there are many people. 6 batches of people got trained on that. You can look at the next batch is going to come up. We'll share the details. and module-based training. Some of it is currently there is a communication module training is happening, and like that there are more module-based training. We are putting it together. And there's women leadership program. This is also shortly going to start. That is where this is a very important thing in our current environment, and the people, many of the leaders or women leaders are there, and how they take it up this role. And finally, there's an online self-based leadership program, which Leadership Card is working out, and we are seeing that shortly we will bring that out as well, so that you can learn the things on your self-based basis. This is where you can be in touch with us. And upcoming in-person event, this is happening on 14th October 2022 in NCR region. We will shortly finalize the venue and inform you. It's going to discuss on fundamentals, basically the team dynamic fundamental stages of team evolution, conflict management, innovative thinking, and problem solving. These are the 4 areas which will get covered. And this is the customer excellence program. We have done the 3 batches of programs. Still, as the nominations are pouring in, we are doing it on for 19th October 2022, the 4th batch of program in Bangalore. This is also already, we are sending it out, more details about it. It talks on the customer excellence, develop a positive personality, personal and professional goal setting, and communicate with influence. How do you do that? These are the things get covered to how do you bring in a customer excellence. This Bangalore venue is also decided, same venue and other details, we'll send it across. Then on a virtual mode, this is what 29th of this October, this program is going to start, where in the personality development, we cover the personality assessment, SWOT, goal setting, and how to build resilience. And leading self, that's what we looked at. Leadership starts with self. You need to look at 3 S framework, business communication, priority management, relationship management. That's what gets covered on this module. Leading teams is an important, that's where we talked about a lot today, some of it. Conflict management, team dynamics, and effective negotiations and business etiquettes. These are the things which will get covered as part of the team. Leading organization, change management is something. Change is the constant which is going to stay. I mean, understand that. Gender diversity and inclusion, problem solving and decision making. And also at the end of it, important, any business you are in, there should be a profitable growth. That is where the organization exists and your job and other thing exists. So we'll look at all this details gets covered and discussed in this program. It starts on 29th October, an 8-week program, weekend program. So 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. on every weekend, Saturday and Sundays, this program happens. So normally look at this pricing of this module, program module, basically leading self, leading others, leading organization, and this one, each one of it would cost of 20,000 rupees each module. If we do that, we have done this program also for organization as well as individual. The total price is 80,000, but for people who are watching this as well as an early bird has wanted to decide on it, as we have still have a time, and we have price of 50,000 rupees for this program, not 80,000. So which is the price of this program. That means each one of it is you'll pay 15,000 plus kind of a thing. That is the price which has been put in. So those who are interested can get in touch with us, and we will help on that part of it. You will have the coordinates left with you, and also this details will come on the social media as well. 4 weeks intensive communication program. This is what is currently happening: power of business presentation, power of business storytelling, and power of listening, and power of questioning. This program is again starting on 2nd October and will end on 23rd October. Timing is 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. on 5:30 p.m. on Sunday. That is the plan of this program. So thank you all for tuning yourself today for the leadership card. Leadership card comes with cumulative 100+ years of experience and work in diverse field, India and global experience. And card is the knowledge, accomplish, reflect, and develop. It's important we acquire knowledge. With that, you accomplish first, then you radiate to reflect and develop the people. That's a concept. We do leadership training, leadership coaching, and leadership mentoring. For more information, contact. This is the number as well as the email ID. Thank you until we see you again with another leader sharing on nuggets on the leadership wisdom next week on the leadership card. See you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.